Yep, perfect internet connection. So when Jack smiles at me, I know he can hear me correctly. There you go, he's smiling. So yeah, we're kicking off. We're in November, Jack. I know our current internet connections between the pair of us are back in the 1970s, but we're in November in 2021, and we're kicking off with probably the most sought after workout ever. We're kicking off with the CrossFit Total.
The CrossFit. So I'll be honest, I've never actually taught the CrossFit Total in a class. So I'm guessing you've done it at Blitz before. You've been coaching classes a lot longer than what I have. How do you usually kind of roll through that, or what lessons have you kind of learned from previous years of doing the CrossFit Total?
Yeah, I've coached it quite a few times. It's a great workout, kind of coming off of any kind of strength cycle to show the rewards. The lessons I've learned is that you have to be very, very time efficient, because giving adequate time to recover between sets within an hour is quite hard. Plus, giving the members enough skill element to warm up, because otherwise, if you're not really giving them the get out of jail on the back squat, so if you haven't covered how to bail on the squat or what's going to happen, mistakes will happen. I've been there, not coached that, and people have hurt themselves. And on the flip side, coached it too much, and then I've overrun. So for this specific area, because we focused on the back squat, we want to give the most amount of time for the back squat to see the reward. And it's the logical one that needs the most warm up. It's the first movement, and it's the one that requires the kind of most amount of warm up sets. So yeah, 20 minutes for that. Build up, keep the volume nice and low so you're nice and fresh in your legs. For some people, they like to do lots of warm ups because it's confidence boosting, it's getting everything fired up. Some people like to take bigger jumps. I'm more of the latter person. I do quite a few sets, kind of between 50 to 60% of my 1 rep max. Then it's quite big jumps. Try not to feel that heavy weight on my back for too often. Have that conversation with your members. Remember, 20 minutes goes very quick if everyone starts slow. So you have to really start at quarter past. So quick hit flow, get the juices flowing. Have everyone with a bit of a plan on where their 1 rep max was, what they're trying to get to. Once you've done that, roll straight into the strict press. There's no need to hesitate. Empty that bar out. A couple of sets of 5 to 10 with the empty bar, and then build up in twos, and then it will very quickly. 10 minutes is enough time to build up to a heavy single on a strict press, just because of the loading and the intensity. And then I tend to use the remaining time of the class for deadlifting, bar off the rack. Normally, certainly for the guys, they'll finish between 60 and 80 kilos for the strict press. So 20s will already be on their bar. Just a couple of sets of 5 with the 60. For ladies, they might be between like that 30 to 40 kilo area. Again, a few sets of 5 with that weight. And then it's just build up, doubles and singles. One thing I do mention on the deadlift is once we get to the top of their deadlift, just to drop it. So no eccentric loading. It will minimize soreness for the rest of the week as well. We're looking at finding a number, not necessarily a training load on the body. So that's how I tend to skin a CrossFit Total. Good bit of fun, get the music up, celebrate success is you don't do 1 rep maxes often. So the likelihood of getting a new 1 rep max for your everyday member is quite high. And celebrate it, let the people know that have done the sessions that they've been rewarded.
Yeah. Would you get people to kind of plan in advance, or I don't know, obviously people are aware that they've got the CrossFit Total next week. Would you be making people aware a couple of days before, or would it be a case where you maybe have a few different, like you said, if you're a person who likes to do bigger jumps, recommend doing 70, 80, 87.5, 90%, would you do anything like that? Or
good question. So we teed it up in the programming, so a lot of members noticed in the notes that we said our heavy 3 with a pause is going to be followed up by the total. So there's been good rumblings of conversation like, right, CrossFit Total next week, going to give it some beans. And then I tend to not put too much in conversation or in content until the day, because a lot of people are thinking, right, I'm on for a big lift here, and if they then have a really poor night's sleep the night before because they're either agonizing about it, they've been out or whatever it is. So I tend to, on the day, we'll give some rough guidelines of some RPEs, which can like double into percentages. We may jump in and I'll pop them in the notes section, but yeah, just taking those percentage jumps. Never try to equal a max.
Yeah, agreed.
So rather say your 1 rep max is 100, or like if that's the most you can get, come away with a 1 kilo improvement. That's a small little nuance that I learned with weightlifting 101 for years on years. It's like if you move your 1 rep max up a kilo rather than trying to make a big jump or stand the same.
Yeah, agreed there. There's no point hitting the same max again. You might as well either go all in, try and get a new one, or just, like you say, just leave it there for the day. Agreed. Cool. That'll really kind of set the tone for the week, hopefully, for a lot of people. Hopefully quite a lot will kind of tick off a new PB. Then the next day, we've got a couple of workouts to work through, wall balls and toaster bar, pull-ups in there as well. Going back to the focus of this phase, building more gymnastic volume. And again, so that how we've programmed that is in a format where it should be on people's limits as to whether they can do it unbroken, or at the very most aiming to be doing it in kind of 2 sets, but towards the end, maybe on the latter round, but it should be on the limit of whether they can do it unbroken or not on that Tuesday. Obviously, we've got 3 rounds of toaster bar, so 45 toaster bar, and then we switch it up to pull-ups, so that there's a definite chance, like I say, of each one being unbroken or as close to unbroken as possible. So a good test there today, because that's kind of a classic workout that could probably come up, with a competition at your Brain Hills or your kind of local level competitions as well. It's just one of them, like, can you do 3 sets of 15 unbroken with a bit of interference in a different area of your body? So 2 nice little workouts there. We should be really looking to push the intensity on that one on the Tuesday. And if you want to add there, Jamie? Who knows whose signal's working? Maybe mine, maybe not. I'm going to go to the Wednesday.
Yeah. Back on.
Back in 1974?
You said you were going to go to the Wednesday. That's what I got. Yeah. So this is amazing. Dial
Back to
up
the future.
That's what we need. Back to dial up.
On to the Wednesday. Yeah, let's get to the Wednesday. Cool. So on the Wednesday as well, weightlifting work. You'll notice the percentages are higher this week, around 80-90%. Pause cleans just to dial in good technique, keeping the bar closer before having the opportunity to do a straight up clean. The pause clean should make the clean feel sharper. Like I say, in this phase, we're kind of building towards those maxes. So that 80-90%, it shouldn't be too far off a max. It should kind of just be below that point where we should be kind of missing reps. So like I say, it's just at that weight where we should be hitting solid reps. We can keep good form, and things aren't kind of breaking down. Going forward in this phase, we also said that front squats will be a focus going forward, and we're going to alternate between pulling off the floor and on the rack from next week to confirm. So this will kind of be the final week of doing kind of a higher percentage clean session to confirm there. After that, we've got power clean, strict handstand push-up ladder. Make sure we're guiding people to hit the appropriate percentages on the power cleans. So as a guide, it should be 60%, something that they can kind of move in quick singles throughout. And same for the strict handstand push-ups. If people are, really struggling, or they know they're going to get to kind of 6 reps and that's them, they're going to be taking too long a rest, scale it down. We don't want, people having 5 to 7 minutes of standing around. So making sure that the correct scales of being chose for the handstand push-ups is going to be important as well. Jamie, do you have anything to add?
Yeah, so what I would add into that is like you said, Jack, have a plan, but then take your time. So 10-minute ladders, quite a long period. Like in the open, there's been 7-minute ladders with cleans and handstand push-ups before. Understand that this workout really kind of gets to the nuts and bolts when you're in kind of the 5s to 10s. So five of those power cleans and 10 of the handstand push-ups. So being sensible about your pacing early on. So then when you get into the latter rounds, you don't completely tail off. That comes from good scaling, for one, from a coach's point of view, but then getting the coach to understand how your members pace the workout. So it's very tempting to go 1, kick up into the wall, do your 2, get back down, 2 touch and go power cleans, get up, do your 4, and then within 90 seconds, you're at the 4 and the 8. Break there. Going a little bit slower will mean you maybe get a couple more iterations further down the line before you start to break down. And remember, it's a training session. So what we're trying to do is develop those skills. So bring those handstand push-up difficulty levels down and the volume down, so then you can build it up when we need it.
Great. Like Jamie said, use that workout to gain good quality reps on the power cleans and just accumulate some good quality reps of handstand push-ups, whether you do strict or kipping. Use that more as a good training session. On to the Thursday, we've got some more rowing stroke rate work. Jamie's done a bit of a video for this. Like we said before, Jamie's done quite a few bits previously with rowing wad and making people aware of, why it's good to kind of vary stroke rates, use lower stroke rates, which will drop on you guys. Is there anything going into that session, Jamie, that you want to emphasize? Again, last time we said about beginners. Obviously, this will be the second stroke rate session. So anything to be aware of there?
Yeah, definitely. So for 2 camps, so the beginners that got some exposure last time, it's about just reinforcing that technique. So they're not going to have nailed it. They may have got better towards the end of their session. A couple of weeks ago it was. And then it's just about reminding them of what that low rate rowing was. For the more advanced members, the ones that kind of really nailed the low rate, the medium rates and the high rate, it's about integrating the split into your rate. So what we're talking about here is if we row at 20 strokes minute at 200 per 500. If we want to go to 21 strokes per minute, we need 58. So having a for interaction, the biggest feedback I got from that class was it was 3.5 minutes of rowing, but the members had to concentrate a huge amount, and that was a big thing.
Good stuff. Good. I went back into 1974 for a split second then again.
About the stroke rate and how the members had to really concentrate about their rowing stroke because of the variable split.
Good stuff. Before that, we've actually got some skill work on handstands, which will be a good opportunity when people are fresh, just to gain a bit more confidence, whether it's just kicking up against the wall or starting to kind of get a few steps on a handstand walk. And for that handstand session, this practice, I get people to pair up and just help to spot each other, get people of similar level just to kind of help each other out. Again, it could be that when they're kicking up to the wall, someone's just guiding them with the rubber arm as an example. Obviously, it's 20 to 30 seconds that we're looking for in each part. So it could pretty much be used as a you go, I go, kind of with a little bit of rest in between there. So yeah, pair people up who are similar level, and again, just to help each other, either give each other kind of little pointers, or you give them pointers to look out for, and then they can be like, oh yeah, when you kick up, try and lead with that other leg a little bit more, or bring your weight over a little bit more, for example. Hands under your shoulder, straight underneath your shoulders. So yeah, good opportunity to kind of pair people up and help each other out there as well. On to the Friday.
Yeah.
I'm still in the 21st century here. That's good.
Very good, me too.
We've got an opportunity to build up to a heavy single on a low hang snatch. So again, building towards their maxes, those heavy singles. Good opportunity to strike while the iron's hot. Key thing for a low hang snatch is making sure that as people come down below the knee, making sure them shoulders stay over the bar. So with that, obviously, where people's body weight will be key. So making sure they're not sitting too far back into the heels. You know, the weight as they come down past the knee should be distributed evenly through the foot. So just kind of bearing key things like that in mind. You've given 1 to 3 rep range, and the 3 is for the people who just need a little bit more practice, isn't it? And for the beginners, Jamie? I'm still here.
Yes. Yeah. So yeah, I am. Like, they don't want to strike too much, they can stick themselves on a 3. If you're feeling good, you can hit that heavy single. Like Jack said, once it gets below the knee, keep your shoulders over, but also make sure you sink your butt down. In the notes, do 2 sets at each weight before you go up. So, chance to solidify movement. We've got some reps to reduce the intensity, plus we've got some prior volume before it gets heavy. So starting at 50% is going to be key. It allows us to drill, get some good practice.
Classic open workout after that, 14.1. This was my first open workout that I ever did, I think, from memory. Good opportunity to really dial in people's barbell cycling work there. Again, like we said with the low hang snatch, this will kind of help prime people nicely, because again, keeping the shoulders over the bar is going to be key here, because when you sit too far back, then knees get in the way, the bar ends up too far away from the body. Whereas if you leave the bum that little bit higher when we're cycling a lighter weight, it's a good opportunity to, well, the knees get out of the way, which means that we can keep that bar closer when we're going down to the floor and on the way back up. So it should be a little bit more kind of hamstring glute dominant when we're cycling lighter weight power snatches there. So that's kind of a key point that I get across going into that workout. Anything you want to add there, Jamie?
Yeah, it was one of my first open workouts as well that I actually was able to do double unders. I had to break them into like 3 sets of 10 because that was my capacity at that point. But what I'm trying to get at there is that for members that have just nailed the double under or starting to get them, this is a good workout to kind of get in 30 double unders in compared to what normally happens in workouts now. They're normally 50 onwards. So 30 is a small chunk. You can get stuck into it. For most people, and even for me included, it's not double unders that get tough. It's the volume of snatches that will make it very, very difficult.
Yeah, like you put, keeping to 2 to 3 sets will be pretty important there from the get-go, just so people can manage the workload and the capacity of the volume of power snatches that's there. Oh, shit. My internet's gone off. Hopefully it's still recording. This is awful.
We're trying again. Can you hear me? I think you got to get
I'm back from 1974 again.
Muted? There we go.
It's still awful, isn't it? Yeah, am I here? Oh dear.
It's like Back to the Future.
It's going to be a lot of trimming here. Are you still there? Hello? Oh.